And welcome back to Who Would It Again this Friday. It is Friday. Well, technically it's Thursday, but it's Friday. This comes to us from DSTN HS2. We'll ask the question, who won the fight? Alex Mercer from Prototype versus Bayonetta from Bayonetta. Alex Mercer I've done on the channel a few times now. He was basically infected with something called the Blacklight virus, which basically converted his physical body and particle immersive form in clothing and equipment because it comprised basically an entire viral biomass. This gives him a number of abilities, including shape-shifting, regeneration, superhuman strength, endurance, durability. I believe one of the most impressive things he ever did was not withstand, but survive a bomb dropping, like a nuclear bomb, like not on him, but near him. He did survive it. Granted, he was kind of, in a bad way afterwards, but he still survived it. His most impressive feat, honestly, is the fact that his biomass, basically, he allows him to absorb other biomasses, other, biological entities by consuming them. He then increases his physical capabilities to a certain degree beyond that point. And honestly, he has near limitless potential for strength, speed, durability, intelligence, and even gaining new abilities. I think I said in the fight with Wolverine when him and Wolverine put against each other, in theory, if you consumed any of Wolverine's biomass, A, Wolverine would still be able to regenerate, so it'd be fine. But B, he would then gain an even more impressive healing factor because of that. I'm not saying his healing factor isn't already impressive, because you have to kind of treat him kind of like a physical blob in many ways. The more danger he is in, exposed, the more he adapts or survive. Not only can he survive, fall from skyscrapers completely unharmed, he even use the momentum to create a devastating shockwave. Not even artillery weapons can inflict significant damage to his body. The best feat of a generation was from the aftermath of a nuclear explosion. Thank you. He was rendered to a puddle of seemingly blood, but shown signs of moving and even created biomass to rebuild his body after consuming a crow that landed on him and somehow gained enough biomass to configure a human form from his previous blood puddle form. The dude survived, barely mind you, but he survived a nuclear explosion. Granted, he was a puddle at that point. If there was no biomass around him, that is pretty much you lose. But yeah, it's because of the way his body is basically designed. He can basically withstand most basic weapons. Blades, he can just kind of make them go right through him. It might do a little damage, but he'll just regenerate. Concussive force is not really a big issue. You really have to use fire, serious fire, legitimately fire, explosives, bioweapons, chemical weapons, things along those lines that actually hurt him. And if you don't, then he may come and eat you. And then he'll know everything you know. Bayonetta is, I believe she was the product of a Lumen Sage and a Umbra Witch. And she is the headliner of her own game, which I believe the most recent one just came out, if I'm not mistaken, or it's coming out, one of the two. She is extreme. She possesses superhuman abilities, including the physical strength to the point where she literally tossed a satellite. Granted, you have lack of gravity up there to help you with that, but it's still a freaking satellite that you basically death grips with your thighs and through. She has longevity and doesn't seem to age. She has an enhanced healing factor. Possesses varying magics, which include Umbran Climax and Serious Mode, which allows her to enter an incensed state of power. These allow her to continually manifest the limbs of various infernal demons and increase the damage output. In Umbra Climax, she gains the capability to perform the infernal weaves and even recover her health while in that state. Witch Time is one of her probably most useful abilities. She's actually capable of speeding herself up, which is essentially causing time to slow down around others. The Dark Art is capable of allowing her to counter the likes of Light Speed used by a sage. Furthermore, she's able to stack over Witch Time to counter another witch and even an angel. She has an ability called Beast Within, which allows transformations into various animals, including Panther Within, Crow Within, Bat Within, Snake Within, Witch Walk, Witch Walk allows her basically to just defy gravity and walk on vertical surfaces. Wicked Weaves allows her, using her hair as a conduit, which is actually seems to be what her clothes are made of. She can use Wicked Weaves to summon forth various demons and summon forth their limbs to attack. Infernal Weaves, an even more powerful variant of using Umbran Climax. At the end of her combos, using Wicked Weaves, she summons a full demon for a large area of effect finisher. There's Infernal Kiss, which allows her to indirectly control various machines as well, such as Bayonetta 2. She blew a kiss at the Cassina, like small piano that contains Enzo, while on her way to, oh Jesus, what are these names? Fimbulvetri? Before jumping off, despite Enzo's fumbling, the small plane, oh sorry, it was a plane, not piano, actually made it all the way to the city she lived in, and she was only destroyed by angels. This is contrast to direct control, which she shoved her middle finger through on any machine keyhole to take control, such as Enzo's car, or even the witch's powerful walkers. She knows alchemy, able to gather crystallized magic compounds such as something root, was it mandragora roots, baked geckos and unicorn horns to concoct lollipops. These can bolster her powers, render her impervious to all damage, or simply restore her health or magic. She also has a healing factor. She can survive wounds that would be normally fatal to a normal human, as she's not a normal human. She on the Bayonetta can heal from the wound in a wound in a few seconds. She has torture attack. She's capable of using special attacks that deal massive damage to most forces of Paradiso and Inferno. By chanting in Enochian, she can summon various objects to potentially finish her enemies. She also has the ability to, again, summon more powerful infernal demons. And then, of course, there's all her weapons, which, dear Lord, she has a lot of weapons. Okay. She has Scarborough Fair, crafted by the famed Demon Smith. These 4 guns have been crowned Paracel, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, pushing her magical lance. Basically, these are the guns she has on her wrists and on her legs. She also has Onyx Roses, which are another set of guns. They look like shotguns. Subara, which is a living katana. The blade will even with a blade, suck the very souls of its victims. Always seeking blood. Cool Shidra, which seems to be a serpentine demon whip. From summoning the power of a demon from a portal. Okay. Durgara, which are 2, look like 2 claws, one for fire, one for ice. She has Odilette, which are 2 looks like ice skates. Let's see here. I think they allow ice magic. She has a freaking bazooka called Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore. Fires explosive magical cells. Sai Feng possessed by the fastest demon bird of all Inferno. These nunchucks spin at blazing speed, unleashing so fast a god would be unable to catch a glimpse. Blazions, 4 guns created by an unknown super civilization, powered by energy source. Able to discern intent of its user. It's said these strange guns miraculously have the power to open a portal to another dimension. Pillow Talk, which is a freaking lightsaber. Let's see here. Rodin, which is mysterious bracelets used by the fallen agent Rodin, holding dominion over a portion of Paradiso. Depending on the power of its user, the bracelets can take on many different forms. Great. Umbra Sisters. Again, I think there's different versions of these 4 guns that she uses. So either way, she's got different guns she uses. Then there's just handguns, straight handguns. Love is Blue, which I think are the ones she actually uses normally. Which are magical guns. Rakshasa, the pair of swords that absorb the demon god. Rakshasas were cleansed of Soma, making them easy flow magical weapons. Yeah, Alrua, which is a demon whip tongue, I think, that has a flower blooming at it. Those that can hear the crack can feel a curse in their ears. Kafka, a bow and arrow. It's venomous. Churabog, which basically is they inflicts wounds of darkness and the soul rots from Inferno. Undine, 2 flamethrowers. Good to know. Takem Kazusuchi, a giant hammer, which can cause earthquakes, salamandra, which is the chainsaws. Both of these teeth can easily tear apart the hardest iron skin. They just cut through things. Chain Chomp, which is a giant Mario ball. There with the giant chomper thing. Rodin again, different form of it. Handguns, Scarborough Fair, powerful attacks. Another version. Again, we're going through more of this. Umbran armor, giant battle armor. Okay. And then, I was going through the weapons. That's different games. That's why Color of My World. These are all they're magical guns. G-Pillar, which is a large caliber anti-material rifle that incorporates tissue from the Infernal Demon, while designed as a weapon to destroy targets by firing armor-piercing rounds, shape and durability. Dark Flame, something, something, something. Ignis, a set of 4 yo-yos that contain clones of Infernal... Phantom Mazaria's energy reactor. Okay. Dead End Express, 2 chainsaws basically together. Ribbit Libido, BZ55. It's a microphone of choice when performing. It's continually absorbed magical over the centuries and has taken on a number of properties quite useful for combat, such as converting voices into destructive sound waves. Interesting. Simoon, which is a fan. Lighter and yet more durable than steel. The fans are used for slashing enemies. Good to know. Tartarus, additional to the gate, can open the gates. Abracadabra, which is a hat and wand. Sleight of hand is yet understood how it conjures the very attacks. Allura, which is again the whip. Another crossbow, guns. So yeah, Jesus, she's got a lot of weapons. Anywho, so who would win in a fight? Well, this fight would all really come down, in my opinion, to if it gets into close range. If it can get into close range, Alex is probably going to steamroll Bayonetta. Bayonetta has more physical strength overall than he does. Like, he can't trump the satellite feat, really. But if he's able to get in and start dealing damage and absorb biomass from her, well, then she's F, because anything that's biologically connected to her, any abilities she has that are biologically hers, would be transferred to him. And now that doesn't mean he'd be able to just suddenly use magic. He might be able to if that's a biological ability. But even if it is, just because he could use it doesn't mean he can use it masterfully. So I wouldn't say it would be an immediate win, but the fact that he would absorb her biomass and absorb any energy and strength from that would be her undoing. The question just becomes then, does she have any abilities or weaponry that could actually put him down? Because it took a nuclear explosion to put him down, and that didn't even put him down for good. So does she have anything that's the equivalent of a nuke or something that can attack him in a special way? Well, Alex seems mostly has resistances to things like poisons, things along those lines. 1 second here. Infected, Indomitable Will, Healing Strike. 1 second. Offensive, defensive. Infection powers, viral generate. Oh, that's right. I forgot. He can manipulate the backlash virus to his own advantage, instantly kill anyone in his immediate vicinity through viral gas or controlling the black light to create infected entities like the red light virus. So I honestly forgot that part of him. So granted, she's been around long enough and is powerful enough. I don't think she could survive like that effect of the black light virus, but still. Where is the healing factor part of this? Endurance. He's also got elemental resistances too, which means that any of our elemental attacks are probably not going to do the strongest amount of damage. He's got a greater resistance to fire and electricity. Ice might be a problem. Ice is something he doesn't have an immediate resistance to, though, so that could definitely help out. Fortunately, she does have a couple things that would theoretically be an issue for him. Anything that steals souls, anything that can infect him with things that are not biological in nature. For instance, darkness, infernal, demonic diseases, things along those lines. those would be problematic for him because they're not something his biology is designed to handle. There's no supernatural mystical element in his world. There's just science fiction in his world. That's the difference with Alec Mercer and something like a magic-based character. That, as far as we can tell, he has no immediate resistance to magical-based abilities. Now that said, however, he's still got serious durability and endurance. It would take a lot to put him down by that regard. Luckily, Bayonetta does have Witch Time as well, and this allows her to this would basically be what would allow her, I think, to win the fight. Is her Witch Time alone would just mean that he's not able to hit her. He can't hit her. Because he's not a light speed level character. He's got immense durability. He can survive a nuke, but he can't move at light speeds. So I liken this really to someone basically I liken this to like someone like a bodybuilder going up against a trained martial artist, like a true bodybuilder, or like not a well, I guess Arnold would have been a good example, but I mean, there was that fight, I think, what was it, Conor McGregor versus the Mountain from Game of Thrones, and a guy just came in and rushed him. Something like that, but where the guy isn't as fast as he looks, or isn't as fast as that, where, yeah, if you take a hit from this guy, you're done, but the fact is you can dodge every single punch you have here, or he throws. So, ultimately, yeah, I would probably say Bayonetta has enough abilities to steal souls, infect him with supernatural illnesses, we'll call them, and deal other damage that he doesn't have resistance to, like ice damage, things along those lines, and just keep whittling him down to the point where eventually he's gonna run out of fuel. Now, granted, that's gonna be a long, drawn-out fight. Fortunately, though, Bayonetta can also summon demonic entities, things along those lines, to attack. Now, the catch with that is, if he's able to steal the biomass of an infernal entity, well, then she's going to be effed. Because at that point, she'll just have nothing. She'll have nothing to be dealing damage that will be able to put this guy down. Fortunately, though, she does have a large roster of weapons she can use to still put him down. So I will say this. If the fight goes into close range, and if he's able to get a hit in, I guess that's the best way to put it. If he's able to get one hit in and steal some of her biomass, she's done. The fight's over. He's going to win. If he can also steal the biomass of a demon that she summons to fight on her behalf, he's going to win. But otherwise, the fight goes to Bayonetta. So the majority, so I guess the question then is, what is the most likely scenario here? Him getting legitimate strike in on her, it's very unlikely. But her not knowing what his ability is, summoning a demon to fight, and him stealing, because she's only either summoning like full demons rarely or parts of demons. Still, those are parts of demons. Him stealing the biomass of a demon because she doesn't realize what his ability is, he's actually very likely. So actually, Alex will most likely win this because after a while, he's just going to grow to a level of power where she's not going to have anything to put him down. Now, granted, he still might not be able to hit her, but she's not going to have anything to beat him either. And at that point, it's just a matter of catching her off guard, tiring her out to the point where he's able to finally land a hit and ultimately end her. So I was leaning towards Bayonetta the whole time, but I would actually go with Alex in this fight. I think Alex, because she would go into this fight not knowing anything about his ability, she would make the mistake of summoning something very powerful and amping him to the point where she won't be able to put him down. If she doesn't do that, though, and he maybe absorbs the biomass like a stray bird or a squirrel or a passerby in their fight, she sees what he does, then she would win. Then I think I'd give the win to her, because she'd ultimately just realize, don't let him touch me. Don't let him absorb other biomass. I can do this. I can make portals and stuff, send them places. So then I would say that the win would go to her. And in theory, she could still open up a portal to send him someplace. But if he's absorbing the biomass of demons, he might not let that happen. because he might get to a level where she can't do that anymore. Either way, though, I think I'll lean towards Alex in the fight. This would be an interesting matchup because she's definitely someone who is intelligent enough to kind of figure things out and is a ranged fighter most of the time. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you folks for the next one.